승리할 수 있는 게임이 한두 게임 정도 더 있었던 것 같은데 그런 게임 진 게 좀 아쉽고 더 준비 잘해서
孙宁的话，他们的前期比较强吧，虽然他们前期很强，但是我们也是前期很强的队友。
我觉得作为一名新人加入苏宁，可以给他带来一些活力，让我们的队伍节奏变得更加流畅一些。再到 Squad 的时候，我想检验我自己的实力，这样有个精彩的对局。
是一波一个机会，但是刀妹进场瞬间杀掉对方2个后排，此刻同时做出了一个大招，刀妹来到3杀4杀，有机会
最后一个吗？加平 A 直接是拿到5杀。
现在选手的话，就新手中的选手吧，经验比较少吧，就利用好这一点就好了。
东部和西部之间的对决，我觉得 LPL 整体实力都差不多吧，每个队都有赢的机会。
夏天的EDG 会比春天来的更强嘛？这次我们可能会赢得更干净利落一点，然后打得更好。
EDG 是一支在中国乃至世界上都是一支很强的队伍，希望我们在遇到他们的时候，可以用我们自己的风格去打败他们。
希望我们能打出西部的风采，打出我们 EDG 的风格。
Yesterday marked the halfway mark of the LPL, as today we hit week 5, day 5. Almost the end of the second week of cross-conference. East will continue to fight the West to claim crucial points before Interconference Round 2 decides who the top 4 for each conference will be. Tonight, every brawl will take place live here in Shanghai, as TOP as well as Invictus Gaming prepare to queue up for their round of clash. Rest in peace, by the way. But it's at the highest of levels, which is going to be the LPL. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Matthew Stewart, and I hope that you're all comfortable and ready to weather out the typhoon back at home, because I know that myself, as well as everyone that's here in the arena, will have to brave that storm later on tonight. So if you're in Twitch chat, please press F to pay respects. But let's get this show on the road, and we're going to start with the standings in the LPL, because last night we saw JDG pick up a victory over Rogue Warriors that propelled them to the top of the standings at 8-1. Only one other team has only dropped a single game in the summer split of the LPL, which is going to be Invictus Gaming. They get their chance to tie up the top of the table by taking down TOP later on today. Speaking of TOP, they're currently sitting at 4th, tied up with OMG as well as FPX with a game in hand. In the Western Conference, EDG also dropping down to 6-2 to tie up that #1 spot. Whereas the side of the Eastern Conference, Suning still sitting at 4-4, claiming that 4th and final spot for playoffs for the moment, with BLG sitting right behind them. Which allows us to take a look at today's matchups. All of them will be played in Shanghai Super Brand Mall Arena tonight. The later matchup is going to be Suning taking on EDG, and that will be after Invictus Gaming play against TOP. A crucial match for these two teams. One will try and tie for the top spot in their conference. TOP looking to try and break away from that 3-way tie for 4th place. I am joined by the lovely Indiana FLICKR in black on the analyst desk today to break down the matches. And the first match we have is going to be Invictus Gaming taking on TOP.
Yeah, David versus Goliath, as you alluded to. Rest in peace. Now, we do say that this is very heavily weighted toward Invictus Gaming, and if you've been paying attention to the LPL, that's of course. But I kind of want to put a magnifying glass a little bit on TOP today, Fish.
Yeah, because TOP, they've made a lot of swaps. We saw Marin move into the top lane for their roster during this split, and we thought that that'd be the staple. We thought that that's going to be the person that plays. He's not going to be playing today, and a lot of changes have been made to the roster in summer split.
Yeah, and I want to nail down why I think TOP have started to climb up, and it does start with the roster. You can see on the bottom of your screen, this is not the starting roster today, but this is the roster that I believe is the best chance for them to continue to climb in the LPL. And that starts with Lies, XX, Goon, Chocho, and Cat. Now the thing is that's not Marin. If people know anything about TOP, usually say this is Marin's team. And that's not to say that Lies is a better top laner than Marin. No one is ever going to argue that. But for whatever reason, the synergy, the cohesion, TOP finding that momentum, it just seems stronger with Lies, particularly on his Darius performance. But before I get to that, I want to hone in on Goon specifically, because it's Korn that's actually starting today. And I was very disappointed when I got the rosters this morning and I see that it's Korn, and I understand Rookie versus Korn, maybe they want to do something with an assassin-based matchup, but that's all Korn really has going for him. Goon on the other side, you can see kill participation at 20%, much higher. He's much more of a roaming mid laner. He has a huge champion pool, much more flexible in the draft phase, much more flexible on the Rift, and he's just a much more conservative type of player. That's 11 unique champion picks, and he's only played the same champion no more than twice. So on and off Rift, Goon just seems like such the stronger answer, and I'm curious why TOP continue to play musical chairs with him.
Yeah, because they're going to be playing Korn into the mid lane for their first match against Invictus Gaming. You talked about the large champion pool that Gung brings to the table, whereas on the top side of the map, if you're going to be looking at Lies, it's quite the opposite. but at a much higher success rate when he plays the champions that he's comfortable at.
I mean, is it much higher when TOP have still only found limited success? Now, to be fair, they found more success than they have back in spring, but they actually went on the record for the longest loss streak ever in the LPL, so it kind of feels like table scraps at this point that we're getting excited for TOP, and maybe much more of a factor that they're now in the Western Conference versus the Eastern Conference, and where those power levels lie. But you are correct, Lies only plays one champion, it's the Darius. He looks great on the champion, but again, if I'm like, why not just play Marn? I have no qualms to say that Marn is probably a better Darius than Lies is, but again, it must be something about the intangibles that Lies is bringing to the roster. Now, Moyu is going to be the starting top laner. They have 3 top laners on the roster, Marn, Moyu, and Lies. And Moyu was known as being just a Rumble-only player. Like, when he found success, it was on this key champion. So I'm curious if they're going to try to have a Rumble in the top lane, or if they're going to put everyone on Darius, and it doesn't matter what they're playing, they just... something is happening at scrims.
Which again is scary, because if you're talking about Rumble, you say, well, why aren't you starting Marn then? And you talk about Darius, and, well, why aren't you starting Marn then?
Why aren't you starting Marn then?
Because he could be the player that solves the problems for TOP, and we'll go a little bit more into that grouping of players that you were talking about, because it seems like the best fit for TOP, but not the roster they're going to be running in their first match against the Giants of Invictus Gaming. This is a team that's trying to tie up their conference. With a win here, they would go 8-1.
And this is going to be the easiest victory that they should take today, because if you look over at the Western Conference, this is going to be one of the easiest teams in TOP. They just haven't found the consistency. A couple of wins here or there, but it's more so their opponents playing down than I think TOP actually playing up.
That's scary for TOP, because they're a team that's currently sitting 4th, tied with 3 other teams.
That's scary for the Western Conference.
Looking for a playoffs run. That is definitely danger signs everywhere. They're going to be trying to fight to move out of their groups. Conference is a good time to pick up those points, but they're up against this team of Duke, Ning, Rookie, Jackie Love, as well as Baolan.
And surprise, surprise, it's not the Shy starting, but on the other side, it's Moyu, XX, Korn, Chocho, and Cat.
And I want to start where we left off, because we talked about how bringing in Lies or Gung would probably be the best iteration of the TOP roster. That's not going to start. Why is that important? Why is it important for Gung to have that massive champion pool, and why is it important for Lies to start in the top lane?
Well, A, you're facing Invictus Gaming. We don't call them Red Side Rookie for nothing. It's the fact that their champion pools are massive in pretty much every single position, and so Invictus Gaming can run circles around teams in draft phase, because it doesn't matter what bans you leverage off of them, they're always going to get the better of you. And Korn has a very small, very limited, effective champion pool. So if Invictus Gaming have a read on what he's going to play, spoiler alert, it's probably going to be an Assassin, maybe an Orianna that is one of his legacy control picks, and we've started to see her
come back a bit more.
Come back, but more so in the ADC or the marksman position. Then Invictus Gaming already have the read on what they're going to do. It's the best mid laner in our league, and it's just going to be lights out for TOP before we even get on the Rift.
So do Invictus Gaming just have to play stock standard coming into this match against TOP? Is that basically how they pick up a win?
I mean, they've been playing fairly stock standard. A lot of their compositions have been a lot slower. This isn't a team that is experimenting too much with things like the funnel composition like the mages. They've dabbled in it, but this is still much more about lane kingdom for Invictus Gaming. Have the correct matchups, snowball over your opponent, and then don't even waste your time with 5v5 because you've won before 15 minutes.
Well, if TOP want to stop that somehow, how do they throw a spanner in the works? How do they throw any sort of disruption plan to increase the odds of winning this match?
With Moyu and Korn on the roster, I think they're going to try to win in certain matchups, specifically the top side of the map, but I don't think that's how TOP actually should win this. I think it should be more about the 5v5, trying to slow down or survive IG's early game, and then take the coin flip that you can win the important team fight. But because it's Korn, it tells me that there's going to be a special pick, that they're going to try something sneaky.
We'll have to look towards Korn in the mid lane, and you know that's where Invictus Gaming have really been weak recently, is in those 5v5 team fights. TOP could try and punish them in doing that. But before we get into the first match, let's hear from Baolan about this game.
这个赛季已经过去1大半了嘛，所以剩下的比赛我们希望我们能执行力更好，然后配合的更好，交流的更好，然后最后有好的成绩。我觉得当今版本的话，就是什么英雄都有可能登场嘛，然后可能选出来前3个英雄大家都不知道是各自会走哪个位置，就是挺有意思的吧。如果队伍能好好利用的话，应该是就是很不错的版本。
You just heard from IG saying that they are looking to refine something that has already worked for them. The Lane Kingdom team, they went to Rift Rivals, they got super far in playoffs, but they're still not quite making it to World just yet. They're still not our best in the league. Welcome everyone, I'm Dom, this is Clement. And Clement, what are we looking for? Is it going to be decided by that top half of the map, as Frost was just saying on the desk?
No, I actually think it's going to be more about the bot side. You do have Duke stepping in instead of the shot, and when that happens for Invictus Gaming, the bot side becomes the aggressive side of the map. They typically have Duke taking most of the pressure, and if you look at TOP, that is where they like to go as well. Cat and Chocho into the bot lane. They've always been running those kill mage lanes there, so I think it's going to be a very hot and heavy early game coming on.
That's a pretty risky strategy when you're playing against Jackie Love and Baolan, who's already, he's not even looking at TOP in that slot as we just heard. He's saying, yeah, you know, we're pretty good, we just need to get better.
Yeah, and I have to say, Invictus Gaming have not been looking the sharpest recently. Their 5v5 is still questionable as always. In their bottom lane, we do have to call out Jackie Love and Baolan. They do die in lane quite frequently. So if TOP do win today, and I'm saying it's a very small chance, but if they do, it's going to be about bot lane kills, and it's going to be about the good level ones.
Yeah, it is really a David versus Goliath for TOP versus Invictus Gaming, and this isn't even the biggest Goliath in the league right now as TOP enter picks and bans against Invictus Gaming. This is a team that is chasing down their 4th series win. So far, they have the same number of series wins as they did in Spring Split in total, and it's only week 5, so there's still a lot of room for growth for this team. They beat the teams below them and lose to the ones above them. If they can upset here against IG, it could reset the whole narrative for this conference.
Yeah, definitely. TOP, they are feeling the pressure. OMG and FPX have just picked up wins. FPX even against RNG.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, it was not a fun set to watch, but TOP are definitely feeling the pressure, and they do need to start finding wins. Invictus Gaming here is going to take away a key pick for TOP, the Talia. It's mainly been played in the jungle for TOP, and the way they draft is very interesting because they like to select a lot of jungle and mid lane flex picks. Goong, remember, has that big champion pool to play around with, but that has not been the case for Korn. What we've seen from Korn so far has been the Zoe, the Yasuo, the Aurelia, and that's pretty much it. Hasn't been playing a lot of games.
Yeah, and that's what we see from TOP is now we've got that Gragas locked in either for Moyu or XX, and that Yasuo that you've mentioned. We've seen Yasuo play bottom, but still perhaps a propensity towards Korn. And it has to be stated, Moyu has played a grand total of 17 games since he joined Dan Gaming in 2017. Of those 17 games, he has won 2 of them. And you have to remember, this is when TOP went 0-3 in spring and when Dan Gaming had that great big downfall in summer split. So perhaps this is the story, not just for TOP in general, but also for Moyu. And what better way to do that than against a world champion like Duke? That said, we already see an Orianna and a Shen out of Invictus Gaming. And it doesn't look like they're taking it easy, because if that Orianna goes to Rookie in the mid lane, that's going to be real scary.
Yep, we have seen the Orianna being played bot lane as well. Y4 leading the trend there. A very strong pick into the bot lane as well. I believe you get a lot of utility out of the late game for that, but it isn't typically considered a great matchup against the Yasuo. So Rookie could just be saying that this is the pick I'm comfortable with, and I'll run it whatever you
It's the blind pick, battle ball, Orianna.
Jackie Love has not played it in the bot lane so far, but, you know, it could still be a flex for Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, so far he's played 2 mages in the bottom lane. Those were both Swain, and he won on both of those games. Surprise, surprise, a pressure bottom lane, a pressure mid lane, a pressure top lane, and the lane kingdom usually works out. So it looks like TOP are predicting that Orianna to go to that mid lane for Rookie, the battle ball, as we see the Draven ban, and now a Mundo ban on that far side for Invictus Gaming. And it seems like they're predicting that Gragas to go into the jungle too. Let's see how the rest of this shakes out, as it's another AD carry ban. So like you said, IG do have that propensity to play towards the bottom lane when they've got Duke in the game, and those are 2 big champions taken away from that bottom lane.
And this is a very interesting setup for TOP because they understand Jackie Love is not really a mage bot lane player. He much more prefers the marksman so far. And if you put him on a lot of mages, then that really takes him out of his comfort zone. You can probably gank him into the bottom lane with the early Gragas pick as well, looking to set up that bot lane dominance.
Look at that, even the Pike ban away by IG's side as they want to eliminate some of that burst that Pike has. And a Gangplank locked in from Moyu in the top lane. I guess now we know where that Gragas is going unless it's flexed to support for Cat. But they do already have that Morgana as well, so perhaps TOP trying to keep IG on their toes, but this is the chance where we get to see where IG send that Orianna.
Yeah, and it's also an interesting chance for TOP to play another flex. Remember, Chocho is one of those players that actually plays a lot of Morgana. Most of the time, it's not Cat that's picking the champion up. They do like to run that kill lane bot, and with Gangplank into the top lane, that is a very good consideration that they could do.
And now we've got Duke taking that Gnar to try and match Moyu's Gangplank on that top side of the map. Still looking for where this Orianna goes. Part of me wants it to go to Rookie just because he's Battle Ball Orianna. He's the guy who can make this Orianna look amazing. And if we've got 80 carries playing the champion and looking good, imagine what it could do in the hands of Rookie as Jace is locked in here for Invictus Gaming.
All right, so this could be a Jace bot lane or a Jace mid lane, depending on where the swap goes. Remember, Jackie Love has never touched the Orianna so far.
Ooh, let's see how this shakes out for IG as they do have that flexibility of choice. Of course, we expect that Shen to be going to support as Fiddlesticks is the answer into the bottom lane. So likely going to see that Morgana go to Chocho, as you've mentioned. He's played it 4 times so far and won once on the champion. This is the Fiddlesticks now. First time we're seeing Cat play that champion in the bottom lane. And it looks like we're going to see the Jace go into the mid lane for Rookie as an answer for Korn's Yasuo.
Yep, I do like this setup a little bit better. The Orianna is not a very easy matchup into the Yasuo. You do lose out into the early game. So having her bot lane makes a lot more sense, and the Orianna against the Morgana is actually fairly decent because the Black Shield typically doesn't do much for you.
Yeah. That command, dissonance, and attack, it's just so easy to get through. If anything, the Black Shield is just going to be for that Shadow Dash from the Shen to try and taunt and lock it down, get some trades. But again, we're not really going to be keeping our eyes on this bottom lane so much throughout the course of this laning phase. It's where the junglers go to try to upset these matchups because there is some volatility in that mid lane. The Jace Yasuo, if you can get that Jace snowball, he's going to become real big.
Yep, what I'm seeing so far from Invictus Gaming is that they actually have a very good sieging and tower-taking composition. They have a lot of range into their top side. Orianna is great for zoning out targets as well. And then when the enemy team is trying to come into them, they have the Shen for protection, and they have the Taliyah pushback for that as well. So this is kind of a new setup for Invictus Gaming. We typically think of them as like more of a brawling team, but this team, Comp, if they get the advantage anywhere on the map, it transitions so beautifully into Siege.
And that's the scary thing, because we always call Invictus Gaming the Lane Kingdom team, the team that plays 3 strong lanes with a strong jungle, wins through all 3 lanes, and then just transitions that advantage forward. Well, now they have a much stronger transition with this composition. It's up to see the composition transition.
Yeah.
It's up to see whether TOP can answer that, because again, that has been the struggle for TOP.
And this is going to be the explosive part, because I do think TOP has a lot of correct answers. They have the Gangplank to slow everyone down, and they have a Fiddlesticks party that might just pop in, a Yasuo to follow up. Explosive cast plus the last breath is a great way to break that siege composition. So there's actually a lot of room for mistakes to happen on Invictus Gaming's side. It's not that cut and dried. A lot of it will be about how they set up that vision when they do go into sieges.
And now, as we've loaded onto the Rift, it's time to hear from the crowd on IG versus TOP. Even bringing in the, what is it, the feasible 5 for TOP, like a discount Avengers.
Yeah, it sounds like a downgrade from the Fantastic Four, I have to say.
Feasible 5.
Like, they work. They work.
They do.
They'll probably make playoffs. They'll limp there, but they'll do it.
It's like Man of Steel. They'll get the job done, but they'll destroy half of Metropolis in the process. And probably piss off Batman, but we do have an invade out of IG. Ning's about to face check into 3 people. That's the ignite, and he's burning down. No heal. First blood over to Korn. Moyu is trying to escape out of this. The trade goes back over as Dark Binding locks down Baolan. 2 kills for 1 TOP.
And TOP has just been so good on these level 1s. We've seen this consistently where they do get the correct setup. And remember my script. What did I say? The way TOP win is good level 1 and kills into the bot lane. So far, they already have a flash from Shen, and they already secured that good level 1.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit more risky for Invictus Gaming in that lane kingdom, as Duke has no flash. He just took a poor trade against Moyu stepping into the lane, so that top lane might not be quite so great. But is XX actually doing a Scuttle Crab start? He's forced to do a Scuttle Crab start because he has no leash, and look at this, IG are immediately stepping up to punish Ning. He doesn't have flash, he doesn't have smite, but he's still happy to trade with that red buff onto XX. He smites and gets level 2. Flashes over the wall, but red buff is still ready for Ning. Barrel slam, but Rookie with the chase. The quick shove back in XX. He's batted against the wall and pushed over as Rookie finds a kill.
Rather unfortunate right there. Ning was just onto his natural pathing, going from red over towards the Scuttle Crab, and he runs into XX.
Yeah.
Just head on.
I mean, the fact that he didn't even get to start with a jungle camp and had to go straight for the neutral scuttle on top of a ward that IG had placed earlier balances things out a bit more.
Yeah, I think that was just the, I believe that was just the scuttle taken by Ning.
Yes, XX has the buff on the red above the dragon. But still that ward not quite paying off as Duke is going to start pushing up into Moyu in this top lane. We do see a push out of Chocho and Cat in that bottom lane. Jackie Love pretty early on, not going to have a great time against that Morgana shove as XX finally makes his way back into the jungle.
Orianna's still not a pick that has a lot of strength early on, and we should expect the lane being pushed for TOP. I also believe that's why we did see IG trying to secure the vertical jungle. They do have winning lanes in the mid and on the top side early on as well. So, you know, good idea from IG, but TOP played the early game, I would say, a little bit better by anticipating the invade.
And that will trade things out rather close. You can see it's only about a 200, 300 gold difference between the two teams, as that's just the first blood bonus going over to TOP. You can see some of the stats for them right now. Their dragon percentage is actually the 3rd highest in the league, but take a look at that Baron percentage, that very important purple worm buff. They're at 12th in the league from the team previously known as Dan Gaming. We would expect a little bit more of that Baron control considering their legacy way back in the day.
Not great, but if you look at this, you say, how much has TOP grown from Spring Split? Because their usual profile in Spring was that they didn't have the players to do it. They just didn't have the talent to compete. But if you look at that graph, they're actually winning early game. They're securing early dragons. So their laning phases are actually doing quite well. So that's a big improvement for this TOP roster come summer.
That damage per minute and of course that gold ratio. XX, he's got his smite, walks up, takes the big raptor. Ning's gonna try and turn it around as Korn CSing as madly as he can against the shoving wave Rookie. Again, just showing why he is the best mid laner in the league. That said, look at this, TOP, they're actually stepping up onto Ning right now as Cat has left lane. There is a ping. Let's see the communication for IG. Are they gonna see this play coming as Ning wants to clear this ward? Playing it so safe though.
He does need to be very careful. There is an extra flash on Cat, so if he did walk into that position, he would actually just die on the spot. Good for Ning to kind of wait until his main lane was pushed up a little.
Well, now that lane is pushing in, that should give some more freedom to Rookie as the wave pushes back for Jackie Love. Gosh, that Tormented Soil is just so good at clearing waves, even with only the Doran's Ring, as Chocho is trying to match Jackie Love on his 3rd mage out of about 20-ish games. Start binding will catch the minion. Shadow Dash. Jackie Love doesn't quite have the command protect just yet. Good Spirit's Refuge to keep Baolan from dodging some of those auto attack trades, but still nice and passive. So far the early game has just been this laning and watching where the junglers go though.
Yep, but we do see from TOP why their dragon rate is probably so high. They do play a lot of mages into the bot lane. They're most played Swain and Morgana, and what they can do early on is they do push weaker champions out of the lane itself. A lot of times they have very good wave clear into the bot lane. The only problem with this comp is come late game, these two champions don't do much for you in a sustained fight. It's much more about getting the snowball going early mid game for TOP.
Oh, look at this, Ning's actually level 5, but XX is right there, immediately pinned against the wall. Moyu, he's holding onto his flash. Actually, he doesn't have it yet. Ning is stalled out under the turret as Duke takes a hit, but here comes Rookie. Ning's able to get the kill, and now they turn onto XX, an easy double dive for Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, and not a lot of execution opportunities for TOP there. There's just the 3-man knocking into a big wave as well. And if you look at the CS scored from Moyu, he was already down quite far. So
as the wave crashes in, I mean, at least Korn gets the CS on the Yasuo. It's the small wins. You've got to take that.
Yeah, and you can see the Gnar going for the call already. Now, this matchup used to be in favor of the Gangplank, but Gangplank since then has been nerfed repeatedly, and we do see a lot of the Gnars getting the better edge of the fight in this scenario. XX was anticipating, but I think the burst from Duke just was too large, and Mori didn't even flash any of it.
Oh, man. Tagged by the edge of that threaded volley hit, and then Rookie just follows up with a few autos. Easy peasy.
Yep, not much you could do there.
4 kills to 2 for IG. So a little bit of a rough, rocky start to the game with that level 1, but look at how it's shaken out already. 30 CS advantage for Duke in the top lane. And it has to be said, this guy played at Rift Rivals. He has to be so hungry to be on this primary roster, so hungry for a win. Because when you think about your competition, the person who's starting in front of you as the Shy, that's the bar that you have to beat. Not like in lane, but you have to be better than this guy in order to get a starting chance on this roster. So Duke, he's got to be so hungry for a win. It absolutely shows in this game.
Yeah, and I do think that Duke does still have a slight edge in terms of maybe the teleports that we've seen coming out from the Shy, and he probably needs to showcase this in the couple of series if he wants to contend for this starting spot.
Yeah.
Because in Spring Split, when the Shy was healthy, Duke actually never played.
Exactly.
Yeah, he only started at the first series of the Spring Split, and then when the Shy was injured, but not anywhere else in between.
And that's when we were talking about the different styles and the value of having Duke on a tank / split pusher, how it enabled IG to play a focus on the bottom lane. But with the Shy, they've got the lane kingdom style. Can they still carry that style forward with the Duke? With Duke? Gosh, every time I make that problem. The Duke. Chewing bubblegum and taking names, yeah.
Yeah, but he is doing very well into the top lane right now. We see this tactic quite often against the Gangplank into the top lane because your stopwatch now only comes online at minute 8. So it's actually fairly easy to do the level 6 dive onto the Gangplank if you have the lane pushing out, and that's what we saw from IG.
And this is where we again have to commend Duke for knowing his matchup, knowing his lane, and knowing his position in the team. We thought that IG with Duke on the team would try to prioritize that bottom lane. Well, they've got a pushing Orianna down there as Ning is going to show up once again behind Moyu. Remember, he's got that stopwatch now, uses it nice and early. Baolan is in there. That's a melee range Shadow Dash. Baolan's tanking a flashback. He takes one more hit. Moyu is still under this turret. Duke forced to leap away and gets the heal and walks it off. Another kill for the Duke in the top lane.
Yeah, and we're seeing this strategy being employed over and over. RNG is doing this. It's actually pretty easy to punish the top laner repeatedly if they get pulled into a bad matchup. The only question here is, will TOP actually be able to race against IG? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, you can see the trade as they're trying to push down this turret, and they succeed, taking first brick. And TOP, a little bit slower on that bottom half, are able to respond, but already we talked about what IG could do with a lane kingdom and what happens if they're able to get an advantage in the early game. Well, now they've got that first brick. Now they're nearly 3,000 gold ahead 10 minutes in, and they've got a team that transitions well into sieges.
Yeah, and there really is no recourse for TOP right here. Moyu is going to continuously fall behind. Even with the Kleptomancy, I think he's down a massive amount of gold, and
yeah.
Duke is probably just going to out-pressure into the top lane. We do talk about Duke as more of the tank player on Invictus Gaming compared to the Shy, but he has shown the ability to play that 4-1 split push style with a champion like Gnar. We have seen him go for Rage Blade sometimes to continue to have that pressure into the top lane. And, you know, he did win a world championship going with that style as well.
Yeah, of course. Can't forget about the fact that he is a world champion. Of course, his opponent on the other team, Korn, was a Worlds finalist in that 2014 finals, Starhorn Royal Club versus Samsung White. But since then, it's been a story of falling from grace for Korn. He since was relegated into the LSPL twice in 2015 and is only just now making his way back into the LPL in 2017 summer. And it's on Dan Gaming, it's on TOP, that he needs to make a name for himself. He's got the fire, he's got the drive to win, but the question has always been, does he have the skill to compete when there are players like Rookie in the league?
And you really have to question why Korn is playing today over Goon. I agree with FrostKern wholeheartedly that this is not TOP's best lineup. Their best lineup is definitely with Goon. He's had a lot of synergy with Xiong XX. They've shown a lot of growth in the early games specifically, and he has also been the linchpin of their drafting strategy. All those flex picks just to hide what Goon is going to play. And it's just weird seeing Korn just coming up here. We've seen his kill participation rate. It's 50% lower than Goon, and he plays a very select few champions. And from my perspective, it feels like TOP is using this set against Invictus Gaming to give their bench players some breathing room, you know?
Their bench players? You mean Duke? Their one bench player.
Moryu and
Oh, I'm sorry, TOP.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess that's the question, right? Is this TOP trying to get some air time for these players to give them a chance to compete in what they expect to be a difficult matchup? As again, IG are just bullying Moyu. He's 0-4, guys.
Oh, wow. And that was a bad cannon barrage.
He's 0-4.
There's
and he misses the minion wave, Here, we've seen attempted reaction from TOP. They've brought their duo lane towards that mid lane to try and counter the push from Rookie and Jackie Love, but how can you possibly keep up with a Jace Orianna now that the Youmu's is finished? Rookie is even finishing that off, I suppose, just trying to pass the Krugs over from Ning, and now they're pushing onto the tier 2. There's no response. Korn is only now making his way up here.
Yep.
We talk about the importance of mid-jungle synergy. Well, how about top and everyone else synergy, Clement? As a top laner main, where is that synergy? As the turret goes down, Korn looks for the fight. They're going to try to turn it around. Ning has got to stand united, and immediately Korn gets knocked back. They manage to kill him as Moyu finally gets his first revenge kill. IG, they're split up though. A quick fear from Cat manages to tag onto Duke with the Ignite burning down. Black Shield doesn't get the slow. He flashes away the barrel. He's able to get that kill. Finally, TOP are back on the board, but Jackie Love over the wall, the shockwave and the shock blast onto 3. Double shock shocks me as Balin shocks it back with yet another kill. We thought TOP would get revenge, but you can't get revenge against IG. They're the ones who set the pace of the game. The Black Shield is popped, the Shadow Dash is ready. Rookie will finally die, giving over a lot of gold to TOP, but Chocho is on the wrong side of this field.
600 gold bounty going over, but the big thing is Jackie Love taking some lessons from Rookie, picking up the Orianna. We've never seen him on this champion, but he definitely has some skills right there. The flash into the shockwave to catch 3 people out from TOP. Well, that was just beautiful to watch.
It certainly was. Oh no, Ning! Ning, he's in the dark binding. He can't turn the threaded volley. Oh, and Chocho walks away alive. And we did talk about if there's a weakness for Invictus Gaming, it's in these team fights. Now, in this last opportunity, they overstayed to take the turret, and TOP were able to collapse with a numbers advantage and find those kills. So it seems like TOP are at least conscientious of their win strategy in this.
Yep, TOP realized they have very strong siege breaking potential. You just saw what their combo was. It was the Gragas explosive cast, followed up with the last breath to catch 3 people out. They wanted to do it before the tower went down, but unfortunately a little bit slow on the timing there. They still get 3 kills out of this entire ordeal though, and Moryu has finally shown up in the game. I'm happy for this guy because he didn't get to play a lot. So does pick up the first kill onto Ning and also finishes up on Rookie as well, but the important thing is the Jackie Love triple going in straight into the EQ combo of Rookie.
Shock blast, shockwave.
Yep.
Can't really get out of that one. And of course the long chase as Chocho lands the stun. Moyu is able to walk off and finally chase down Rookie as, just runs him down through the acceleration gate.
And it's so unfortunate for TOP because they had a good comeback, but against a team like Invictus Gaming where they're stacked with superstars, you can't make any mechanical mistakes. You go over an inch and they will take a mile away from you. So, you know, it started out good for TOP. We saw some good things from Moryu. He's on the map now. He has his Triforce finally. And, but, you know, IG just take it away straight after.
And now they're looking for this Rift Herald, and it is such a scary thing when part of your win condition is, okay, don't give them an inch, but if we do give them an inch and they take a mile, hope that they trip while running on that mile, because that's what we see right now. Yet another inch has been given. Duke under the cannon barrage. Balan, what a gentleman. Holding that turret aggro open, holding the door for Duke to chase down that kill.
Well, I have a prediction for you. TOP are not going to blind pick Gangplank next game.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Even the Rift Herald charge into that mid lane, Cat He's standing there with the Crow Storm. XX is spotted though and is forced to back away. Don't think Rift Herald finished off mid tier 1 as Duke is trying to finish off the bottom tier 1. IG are just taking everything. But here we go. Did they overstay? Are they about to trip and stumble?
They do hand over the Infernal.
That they do. It's a good steal by XX. And TOP, they've got 2 dragons. They've got 2 dragons. That's exactly the stat we were talking about. They've got higher dragon control percentage.
That is true. I will say that's Invictus Gaming's mistake. They were a little bit too greedy. They want to take the bot lane tower at the same time as doing the Infernal Drake. And, you know, props to TOP. They just weren't going to let that disrespect happen.
Yeah.
You do one objective at a time if you're Invictus Gaming. And, you know, to be honest, I do want to see a more dominant game coming out from IG. They've had such a great laning phase, but just don't give those 2 Drakes over to TOP. Don't give those 3 kills. That was unnecessary.
Yeah.
And try to play like a super dominating game. Put the fear into people's heart when it comes to playoffs. You know, that's what I want to see from IG.
That's what we just heard from Battleland just before getting into this game. We know that we're not the best right now, but we're still good. It's about learning and cleaning up those small mistakes. Well, guys, you're still making them so far as it's 10 kills to 5, and they've passed over those 2 dragons. But now they've reset back onto the map. Luden's finished off for Jackie Love. Rookie has got his 2nd serrated Dirk and is prowling around. And look at this control towards the mid lane. Oh, baby. That's a shock blast. That's a lot. Wow, look at the damage they're even getting to the turret. Ning with the Weaver's Wall. But there are 4 people there. XX goes in, but that's not a fight they want. Jackie Love is already dead. Another shock blast onto XX as teleport is started and canceled by Duke, but micro mistakes.
Yeah, that was a pretty good timing on TOP. Jackie Love's flash was just off by a couple of seconds, still in cooldown right here. And that's what I was talking about, the mid game for TOP.
No, don't do it.
No, he's down, he's down.
Under the turret, Balan. Oh no, he's forced to stopwatch out of there. The Crow Storm on top of it. They're investing a lot into this kill, but Balan just flashes away. And here comes the next wave, a quick flick. Cat gets caught. Rookie's trying to finish off the turret, though. He's got his eyes on the prize. Good guy, Rookie. Finally locks it down. 4 turrets to 1 in this mid lane.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you want to do a siege break, you do need to get multiple carries. And Duke...
Oh, no! Balan immediately back to base, just follows up. Moyu is 2-6-2. Has to scratch his hair as he tries to figure out what happened.
He's
Another
dead
shadow
already.
dash. XX is there. Even more shots. He's
waiting for the Q.
Dead. Oh, the fear, the cleanse, the auto. Rookie with the outplay still gets it, but the ignite is burning him down. Cat locks down that kill in trade as a dark binding will
sure
catch
Ning
on
killed him
to
there.
Ning. The tragic trade finally puts them back on the board. But you don't see smiles and laughter on the IG player cams, even though they are 7,000 gold ahead.
Ning 100% knows that he killed Rookie right there. He should have pushed the guy backwards.
Away instead of in.
Yeah, that's just the classic Ning Rookie synergy.
The buddy-buddy, yeah.
Yeah, the buddy-buddy synergy. Like, everything on Invictus Gaming is good. Ning is amazing with the Shy, but for some reason, when he's with Rookie, the 2 just play worse. Immeasurably worse. But that was still a cool play overall, you know. Invictus Gaming, they're flexing their muscles. They know they have this one in the bag. They're just so far ahead.
They are. They just need to try to clean it up as we expected out of IG, looking for that dominant performance. Again, keep your eyes on that player cam for a few seconds. Nobody on IG is smiling. They're only up 5 kills. Though it is nearly 6,500 gold ahead. And the longer this game goes on, the scarier the TOP composition becomes. Yes, the Gangplank is 2-6-2. But at 60 minutes, it doesn't matter what the Gangplank is.
This game is not going to 60, by the way.
Because he can just turn things around. Look, I'm saying there's a chance.
All right, all right.
We just watched RNG lost a 60-minute game against FPX yesterday.
RNG.
We can't forget about that.
We call them the best team of the LPL, but
best team in the world right now.
On some days, I swear they're not even top 5.
Look, you got up days, you got down days. You win some, you lose some. Always a tragedy. But now we can see TOP. They're trying to, I think they're trying to bait around the Baron. They've got control for now, but there is a ward behind them on that Raptor ramp.
Yeah, the problem here about Invictus Gaming and how far ahead they are is that they never really have to group for the Wombo combo coming from TOP. They can actually just split push this, and TOP have to react to that side lane pressure. So, you know, I understand why TOP is setting up for the Baron, but realistically, there's no chance that IG actually walk into that area. They can just do the 1-3-1 and make sure you show up to your towers.
Just have to keep TOP locked down. Again, it sounds simple. You would expect that to be the strategy for the Lane Kingdom team with strong lanes and a good transition into Siege, but we're constantly seeing IG chase down these kills. Baolan aggressively shadow dashing forward just a little bit too far and baiting his allies into fights, but they might be looking for a pick right here. That is such a scary place for that Fiddlesticks to be. 4 levels behind that Jace with double lethality.
I don't think he does anything with the Crow Storm. There's really not enough damage here, and
God,
oh, that hurts. That really hurts.
Does. At least he has Drain, but there's no games for him to drain. All right, ward over the wall. There he goes. Keeps that Baron safe. That's just real dangerous for TOP, as now they're the ones forced to sit back. And again, Rookie can just keep taking pot shots like this.
Yeah.
Forcing people to retreat and allowing Duke, as you can see in the bottom lane, to push up those side waves with teleport. Quick, clean, and easy.
Yep, and this type of composition from TOP does not do very well into the late game. Chocho
no,
getting
the
caught.
Shock Blast and the Weaver's Wall. Baolan's on the wrong side of this, but like you said, it's a well-executed play from IG. They find the kill, though a binding onto Ning keeps him under the cannon barrage. Shockwave finds 2 for the revenge from Jackie Love. As Duke leaps forward, chasing down XX, is immediately feared. A little bit of an overstep, but they're still able to find that 1 kill for 1.
Yep, good Terrified coming out there. Now Invictus Gaming has already removed a lot of the engage options from TOP. They can just set up and siege.
Good lord, Rookie! He is doing so much with these Shock Blasts. They're trying to finish off the turret here. Korn takes a hit from that Orianna. The barrels are cleared out in time as the tier 2 is finally finished off. Clement, it's 6 turrets to 1. 9,000 gold ahead for Invictus Gaming. I think they're willing to trade a death on Ning for that.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter for them. They took away all of the big ultimates from TOP. They can continue to siege afterwards into the fight. So they're just so dominant. And I think a lot of the problems did stem from the draft coming out from TOP. That they did draft what usually has made them strong, and that's the strong early jungle for TOP. That's always been their mainstay.
XX,
yeah, the Camille, the Graves for him is how they like to do their drafts. But this time with Moyu playing, they wanted to do something sneaky.
Try
to
get him a gangplank later on.
Yeah, try to hint at the Gragas flex, possibly for the top lane, and find themselves better lanes.
Yeah.
In the end, that didn't work.
Invictus came down with the smackdown in the top lane.
Invictus Gaming actually got to pick all 3 of their lanes.
They managed to find Baolan. He face checks into a brush as a support all alone, doing his best PYL cosplay as he steps up and hands a kill back over to TOP. If you take a look at the vision right now, there's not a lot around that Baron for Invictus Gaming. Yes, they've got Duke split pushing in the side lane, but they just traded a kill and a tier 1 for split push vision on the far side. So yes, the draft was risky for TOP, but like you said, that wombo combo potential is still there. If IG make a mistake, it's going to be in these 5-stack team fights where we can see TOP get all of their ultimates off.
Exactly, and we can still talk about how TOP could potentially win this game. And like you said, it is going to be about that Baron bait. They are running a wombo combo type of team composition where the gold deficit actually does not matter so much. It's about the fight setup. So in one of these situations, if they can make a pick on Duke and then force Invictus Gaming to walk into the Baron pit, that could be a potential teamfight win for them.
So this is the checklist. Kill Duke, the 3, 1, and 6 Gnar, who is 80 CS ahead of his opponent, with a BF Sword Black Cleaver, and now a Giant Spell Warden's Mail.
Take away their split pusher.
Exactly.
It's not easy, but that's how you need to set up the play.
It could be Rookie. I mean, he's on this Jace.
Rookie's not going to split push.
We've seen him split push before on the champion.
All right, if he does, it's a mistake.
Okay. We're just saying there's a chance.
Okay.
So kill the 3, 1, and 6 Gnar, the 9.0 KDA. Or perhaps find a pick as IG are trying to step up and clear out some of this vision behind the Baron.
I actually like IG's position better here. Look at where Jace is.
Oh yeah, you're right. He's behind that Krug camp. He's just got that Shock Blast ready. All right, steps out to clear out that wave. Keep side pressure, a ping onto Duke telling him to go to the wave. You can see even Moyu was pulled over towards the Baron. He has teleport, but that's how dire this situation is. If somebody gets hit by a Shock Blast and IG find a kill, he needs to be there. As Cat, he actually is able to get out of this. Great!
They do find Rookie.
Yes! I told you! Yeah. He does it sometimes. The 1-3-1, now he's got no QSS and no flash.
All right, that could actually work out, but
they do.
That was a mistake. There wasn't really much reason to walk through that path.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have walked through the other way. Didn't need to decided to go for kind of a greedy pathing decision, and now he doesn't have that flash, so, you know, the pick could be coming.
And we see this wave pushed up to the inhibitor turret. Chocho has even been pulled over to try and answer. He's got teleport as well, so he is capable of split pushing.
Yeah.
And I have to pose the question to you, as it seems as though they found XX in the jungle. Baolan using that ignite, but they've collapsed onto Chocho in the back. He's got Meganar, he's feared, cleanses, pops into Mega, eats his second stun, Cannon Barrage on top of IG, and now they're stacked up as 5 along with TOP. That cast is not ready, but the last breath is from Korn.
So TOP again get to evade a devastating team fight coming out from Invictus Gaming. A lot of good play coming out from Chocho to salvage the situation. Use his Soul Siphon, the
Soul Shackles.
Soul Shackles, just to get out of that hairy situation.
Able to reset it, but again, that was IG almost being baited into a 5v5. The teams were there, they were lined up, but if XX had his cast and his flash, that could get on very different for IG.
You could see that Korn was looking for his way inside of the team fight, but they didn't have the tools anymore to really get it onto Rookie and Jackie Love. Those are the 2 members you have to kill, and preferably kill at the same time. If you get one of them, I'm not even sure you win the team fight if you just kill one.
Oh, that's actually Stand United and the flash Shadow Dash onto Moyu. He drops a cleanse. The barrel lands slow, but he has no flash and he's able to walk this off. That's 2 members of IG invested in breaking Moyu down. And despite being 2-6-3, he's at 2 items right now, and he just successfully kept himself alive from that attempted gank from IG. So he's still holding under this pressure. What will break first? Will it be IG in this siege?
We just saw Chocho use his Zhonya's for some reason. We did hear the sound effects come out.
Yes. No flash either. As, Duke, now he's going to step up onto Moyu. He knows he has no flash. He's nearly got Mega. Procs the Sterix before walking off. Try to put that item on cooldown and keep him occupied. But now TOP, they're back under the board.
This is really smart macro play coming out from Invictus Gaming. They don't have Stand United, so they understand that the pick is coming. Whoa!
Look at the damage. What a wind wall from Korn in order to keep his AD carry safe. Well, his bottom lane mage safe. Now they just rotate to the next wave. Duke preps it. Good cannon. Or sorry, good barrel breaks it up. But look at the damage that IG are able to get on this turret.
They can't go in on Gnar.
Onto Duke. Another shock blast for some more chip damage.
Yep, and like I was saying, Invictus Gaming understand the win condition from TOP. They know that without Stand United, Duke can be picked off, so they instantly go for the 5-man siege instead. Chocho does not have his Zhonya, so that's a large engage potential avoided. XX going in, though.
They're going for the chase here. Shadow Dash onto Baolan and the Cannon Barrage. Barrel is ready. Korn has found some big damage. Jackie Love is forced to Zhonya's. Duke with a pin against the wall. He's Mega, but the Shockwave turns it around. They're all stacked up, though. Rookie goes in. They managed to finish off Jackie Love. They managed to finish off Rookie. I cannot believe it.
It's a 4-man.
They get 4 kills, Clement. This is exactly what we said IG needed to not do, but IG, they know their win condition. They chase IG down and find themselves 4 kills.
Yeah, and that could have been avoided so easily. They could have just backed out of the area entirely and timed all of their backs together. The small things falling apart for Invictus Gaming, and they just handed over another Infernal.
Here we go. It just starts with XX over the wall. The Cannon Barrage for a slow. And then Jackie Love too far forward. He has his flash, but gets knocked back in.
And this all starts with Invictus Gaming not timing their backs together. You could see Ning is already back into base, and they just get caught out by the Wombo combo coming out from TOP. They're starting Baron.
They're actually on the Baron right now. Ning is there. He has no Weaver's Wall. He does have Smite. Caught by the binding. Oh, but TOP, they are generous gods, Clement. Much like Thanos, they snap their fingers and Ning gets to live.
Okay. Well, I would expect half of Invictus Gaming to die right there, but so that doesn't really work with the Thanos analogy. I believe Thanos did no wrong.
Look, by the way, were you on that subreddit? The Thanos did no wrong subreddit? Or did nothing wrong?
I will not reveal my browsing history.
It was 650,000 people subscribed to the subreddit.
I was in for the drama, but I didn't subscribe.
Oh, okay. I subscribed, and I didn't.
Were you banned?
I didn't survive. I got banned.
That's great. That's great. You're in the Soul Stone now.
Yeah. Well, that's the rumor, right? I guess we'll find out. Anyways, now we've got the blue buff being taken by IG, but TOP with the Baron buff. They got the pace of the game. You're saying uh-oh. Why are you saying uh-oh?
I'm sweating right now because I feel like this is how Invictus Gaming actually lose the game.
It's not the Shanghai heat that's causing us to sweat.
We actually have a typhoon today, so there is no heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but IG, they don't have a very... Their backline is actually very susceptible to dives and ganks like that. You're talking about Nard, Jace, and Orianna. All three of these champions, if multiple ultimates do land, then they can be wiped off the map instantly.
And look at how different the pace of the game is. Cat sees that, the Fiddlestick sees the Jace and says, you know what, I can walk forward on him. And Rookie is forced to back away. That's completely different from just a few minutes ago. Now TOP, they're pushing up for their third turret of the game, the mid-tier 1. Not able to break it as IG have got so much wave clear. But Duke is split pushing on an inhibitor turret. Moyu is there to answer. And we also see the recall out of Cat, but Duke is just being a pest in this mid lane. Sorry, bottom lane.
Yep. Duke probably cannot push with Mori and the Baron buff into the bot lane. However, he can find an opportunity to sort of pincer TOP's composition. He will have the inner track if it does come to that.
I mean, he's trying to, but he's in vision right now. That means TOP finally get that mid wave and break down that mid tier 1.
Yeah, and look at the CS difference between Rookie and Korn at this point. Oh, coming in with a... Unfortunately, doesn't land.
Yeah, attempt from TOP. They duck out of vision. Little did they know they were still in vision. So that's going to make it a little bit more difficult. Ning is split pushing on that Talia for some reason.
Yeah, he's just trying to divvy the map up. But I want to point out the CS score between Korn and Rookie. Korn has spent so much time on the side lane.
That's the pick that they needed. Finally finding Baolan. Good shockwave. Is Korn over the wall? Baolan gets out of it. And he pulls the Yasuo onto the Orianna. Duke is trying to get this kill onto Moyu, or at the very least finish off the turret, but I'm not sure it's going to work out.
Should
as
be
that's
able
the
to get the
Sterix
tower.
pop under the turret. Duke leaping around. He gets it. 1 shot. 2 shot. And he's got Meganar and will survive. Meanwhile, Ning has collapsed on that mid lane, finding a kill onto JoJo.
Here comes Rookie as well.
This game is falling apart real quick. There's the Stand United. Korn goes one direction, drops that Weaver's Wall. Baolan goes in. XX is taking some hits, but Ning follows up, and IG pick up the messy remains of TOP's siege in that mid lane, finding not 1, not 2, but 3 kills and the solo onto Moyu in that top lane.
Yeah, and TOP just with the same mistake IG doing, not backing soon enough. Handing multiple solo kills, and Duke is probably going to find another one
he's
here.
Chasing down Cat. He's just got so much damage. 5, 2, and 6 on that massive Gnar, level 18.
It's
and with
45
that ace,
on Korn.
Yeah, they're looking for the end right here against TOP. A much closer game, I think, than we expected between these two teams. As JoJo isn't going to respawn in time. IG turn onto the Nexus.
And we didn't see half of the action right there. It was just kills happening from IG side in the mid lane.
Yeah, they finally break it down. IG take game 1 against TOP.
Duke is laughing at himself right now. He can't believe they actually won the game with those mechanics, and IG just managed to wiggle themselves back into the game. You know, it was a solo kill that happened from Ning onto Chocho, so that was their main ADC gone from the fight.
Yeah.
And then very good sidestepping from Rookie, able to get the, another kill onto XX as well, and Duke with another kill into the top lane.
Yeah.
So it was basically 3 solo kills chained together
across the map, yeah.
at the same time to end the game.
And look at that gold difference. 9,000 gold ahead for, what is that, 7 minutes almost?
It went from 4K in the last minute, and we didn't get to see half the action.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel cheated in that
everywhere. The solo chase all across the back. And I apologize, that wasn't me being speechless right there. That was me having to sneeze.
Yeah.
But not quite. Much like TOP, not finding the opportunity in order to execute on the strategy I had found. But still, IG, they're able to close it out. You can see Duke did massive damage towards the end of that game. Chocho on that Morgana, 13, nearly 14,000 damage, more than the Orianna at 10.5.
Yeah, I have to say I have a mixed feeling about this win for Invictus Gaming, because I feel like it's a good thing for them that they won, but it's also a bad thing because it teaches them the wrong lesson.
Yeah.
They're getting a lot of these wins where they just out-wiggle the opponent. They're better players. They make better plays individually, like out-mechanic the opponent. But overall, I don't think that 1 minute stretch happens too often.
That's so classic LPL, though.
Yeah.
Because we literally had the same thing happen yesterday with RNG versus FPX, where they lost a super chaotic game because they drafted a really, really weird team comp in a 57-minute game. Then game 2, they said, you know what? We can take a 20-minute win. I guess we don't need to try. And then they lost the series.
TOP, it's just they had such a good way back into the game. They were finally finding their wombo combos. They were setting up their siege, and then they get picked off in 3 places in 1 minute, and they lose the game.
It came down to those individual kills. It came down to the individual plays. That said, it's time for our analysts to break down the Game 1 IG win.
Well, most people, it's safe to say most people would have predicted Invictus Gaming to win Game 1 of this series, and most people predict Invictus Gaming to win this series in general, but I like what Clement said. It doesn't feel like this is the right way for Invictus Gaming to win. It doesn't feel like they deserve that win, and it also did not feel like a top-of-the-table Eastern Conference team against bottom-of-the-table Western Conference team match.
I mean, I think it depends on kind of where you cut the footage there. If you're looking at just kind of the first 12 to 15 minutes of the game, you're like, yeah, Invictus Gaming looking real hot, probably going to end the game. But if you look at that one overextension, which classic Invictus Gaming, their hubris gets the better of them. The fact that they think that they can siege there, that they don't respect the wombo combo, and they get blown up in a 5v5. Because if you just cut that tape, IG looking good. But yeah, I do agree with Clement. It's kind of like they put themselves in a bad situation. They don't really consider what their opponent's going to do, and then they just have to outplay themselves from behind.
Yeah, well, let's actually start with the early phase of the matches, because it started with champion select. TOP did pick up Yasuo, so a more assassin-based champion in mid lane for Korn. And they got counterpicked in both their solo lanes, which was quite a disaster for them being on red side.
If you look at the draft, they second rotated Gragas Yasuo, and then they blind picked the Gangplank. And so the last pick from, the last 2 picks from blue side are the counter picks for their solo lanes. How does that happen in draft phase? And this is what we were talking about earlier at top of the show, is that Korn has a very small effective champion pool. Yasuo is one of those picks. I actually really like the takeaway from Orianna. Yeah, Orianna has been moving more into the marksman position. It's exactly what Jackie Love played this time around. Y4 on LGD, the guy that really popularized it. But if you go all the way back for Korn, if he does have more of a conservative style of pick, it is on that Orianna. And so I'm curious if it came up this early, not just to give the counter pick a safety for the Shy and Rookie, but also as kind of like a winky face, if you will, towards Korn to deny that.
It's also been rising up, like you said before the show, as a very popular pick at the moment in the current meta, not only in the marksman position, but also in the mid lane. But IG were able to take that draft, and they started a very good early game snowball. They got repetitive dives towards the top side of the map. They shut down Gangplank, who's a scaling champion, very early into the game, even denied TOP's attempts to save Moyu in the top lane.
And I don't want you to look at all of the beautiful action and the gorgeous dives that are happening on your screen right now. I want you to look at the mini-map, because this is what is repeatedly happening. It's the fact that because they got these counter picks here, that there is always the superior rotation for Invictus Gaming. Even when Rookie's not involved with the kills, the fact of the matter is that Ning is completely unlocked to attack the top side of the map and always have the numbers advantage. And still, look again at Rookie. He's still early on making the rotation, walking up river. They constantly had vision control. So it wasn't just about, you know, diving the top lane and punishing Moyu, although that was kind of the byproduct of it. It was the fact that with the counter pick, with the draft, that was exactly what's going to happen, and IG executed on it.
And they created a nice early game lead for themselves. This is what we expected out of Invictus Gaming. They're a team that create leads from the laning phase itself. Mid lane Rookie had the counter pick, got the push in, was able to cheat towards top side, work with Ning in the top to go towards top side map to get those kills. It was about 7,000 gold, what they got 10-14 minutes into the match. And then they started to team fight. Now this is where Invictus Gaming have always been weak.
Or is it inting?
Oh, I can't quite tell, but we'll roll a couple of tapes to show you those team fights, because the first one, although went in favor of Invictus Gaming, was very sloppy.
I mean, you get a little bit hypey, and the fact of the matter is that with that composition, you have champions like the Jace, you have champions like the Taliyah, even the Gnar. Like, your mid-game power spike, especially when you rock into an early mid-game with that gold lead, you are very powerful. So I don't blame IG for kind of feeling the momentum, feeling the energy, and trying to push their luck. But this is such an Invictus Gaming thing, and the problem is that it's fine to do this against TOP because you frankly are just better players and you'll be able to outplay this scenario. but they do the same thing against teams like Edward Gaming, like Royal Never Give Up. And the fact of the matter is, until they learn patience and until they learn team fighting, they will never be champions of the LPL.
Which is exactly what Clement said. It feels like this is the wrong lesson for Invictus Gaming to learn going up against TOP. This is where you should be clinical. This is where you should be clean. This is not where you start to let old habits come back and team fight like monkeys.
I mean, the counterpoint to that is that it's really hard to pull IG up on that, because for all we know, like, there's so many games in the LPL. It's such an exhausting league to play. It goes on for 10 weeks. We play more games than any other league. We're right there with the LCK because we're the largest league in the world. You know, maybe the coach just unleashes them. For all we know, it's like, you know, have some fun. Let's play some compositions. Oh, you want to play your Jace? Let's go ahead and play the Jace. So it's hard to say without being in the comms, without really knowing the culture of the team. But it could be something like that for IG, where against TOP, because there's not a lot of threat from the team, you just let them go.
It does lead to fights like this, however, where TOP were able to pick up 4 kills, I believe, was off the back of that fight. They went towards Baron, got an easy Baron for themselves as well. But that's unfortunately where the TOP hype train stops. Again, like Clement and Dom were talking about during the cast itself, Invictus Gaming were able to out-mechanic everyone. Press their buttons a little bit better, click a little bit better, and actually won the match off the back of that.
But if we want to do a deep dive on kind of the analysis of what is plaguing Invictus Gaming, where they do have their weaknesses, it's one thing to say Invictus Gaming are poor team fighters in comparison to the other LPL teams, which I think that is true. It's about where they're layering their spells, how their tank or their front line is really setting up for their carries, which makes sense, especially if you're constantly rotating between Duke and the Shy. These are very different types of top laners. It's usually going to be your front line. If you're not building the synergy with one or the other, you're going to fall down. But it's also the back timings, and it's also where they're placing their vision and how they move around their vision. For a lot of that match, Invictus Gaming's map was dark, and they were caught out several times. Now, they were able to turn the tides and also find picks on TOP, but it wasn't with vision traps or anything like that.
No, it was not, and a lot of it was around Ning in the jungle, especially with his cuts towards top side of the map. He picks up MVP for the Game 1 performance from Invictus Gaming. Now, we already talked about them creating a nice early game snowball in order to pick up that match against TOP. We really want to see now if they can clean up the rest of their game plan, because TOP were able to show that you can throw the spanner in the works and you can create messy team fights to throw off Invictus Gaming.
I think we're going to drop the sledgehammer and we're going to have a much faster game number 2, but I think there's definitely going to be a lot of blood back and forth.
Well, we'll find out soon, because game number 2 is about to start. Before we get into that, let's go to a very quick break.
这个夏天 ，IG 有太多东西需要证明，请大家拭目以待。